Hi, I'm here to give you a little description of my live performance too, which was something a little bit different than the actual dance performance, but was available for what I had left time. I went to go see what the Innovation Theater had to offer, and seen, they had 5 shows in their black box theater that was really cool. Um, this is it from Innovation Theater. Super cute. Okay, so with this kind of performance, Innovation Theater gives the chance for the students to really kind of go into theater with producing, directing, creating their own shows, songs, staging, all of that. It gives them more access to things that they can do in a smaller setting, as well as, just kind of move them forward. I went into this unexpecting. I had no idea what I was expecting to see. I didn't know if this was going to be more theater, more dance, more of a singing, more of like a comedy show. I had an idea, no background, free canvas as I went into it. So that was really good. The 2 that I like the most out of the ones that I've seen, or the ones I'm going to talk about, it's going to be Shadow and After Eden. One, before I even get into it, Shadow is a great story. And I feel like everybody goes through this and don't even realize they're going through something like this. And it was just beautiful how they put it together. And After Eden was a great way, as someone who comes from a Christian background, to look at a story that almost everybody in the world knows about Cain and Abel, but seeing it from a different point of view and seeing how they felt, as well as seeing how our mother felt. It was really beautiful, a different take. But what I like the most about it kind of ties into fate, and you kind of can't control what's meant to happen. Beautiful. So starting with Shadow and how I put this live performance to the things and the impact that I learned from class to put it into the same scenario. So with Shadow, the story, there's 2 girls, 2 daughters, father, and a shadow, which is one of the girls, like literally like her shadow, but kind of like also her imaginary friend. So with this story, Shadow, what I've learned and got from it, that it was really beautiful. Starts off, her not wanting, the girls laying out on the street, and she's kind of reminiscing, and I guess the sister is trying to get in touch with the younger daughter in regards to the father. The youngest daughter doesn't talk to the father because of childhood trauma, is basically what I took it from, and not wanting to deal with him anymore, because there's a part of her that she shut off due to how she was raised and the things around her in her environment, and she breaks free from that. So from the story, you don't realize what's going on because it kind of happens slowly but fast at the same time. The main character, which is the child, and her shadow, when they're growing up, the father is very aggressive, kind of tells you what to do, his way, my way, or the highway, very controlling, and the 2 little girls just kind of had to take that. One of the little girls, I feel like when it got too much to her, she created her shadow self. And not created her shadow self. Her shadow self was there to help her get through a very tough time that she felt like she couldn't talk to her sister or father because there was nothing. They just had to accept what was going on. And I guess he was trying to change something about the daughter. Something I was still a little unclear with, but I think the father was trying to change something about the daughter that she didn't want to let go of herself, or something in her happy side that she didn't let go. The shadow side did exactly what she did, but it was her imaginary friend that she basically kind of helped herself get through her childhood trauma, and they were connected. It was like she was looking through a mirror. Very beautiful. There was a little bit of dancing and musical numbering going on to the show. Beautiful aspect, well played to what the situation was going on, taking the scenario, falling, the full story plot line was really beautiful, and executing, the childhood, but it kept going from present time to past time. So that was really hard to kind of keep up with for me, the present past time, because it was happening at the same time. Like at the same time in the background going on. And kind of went through like a portal as well. With the shadow self was there to protect the little girl, be her friend, whoever she kind of like vented to went to. And I think there is a time the father kind of basically took the child's happiness away. Took it away and was like, yeah, we're not going to do this anymore. we're shutting this down. You're not allowed to have this. You're not allowed to have that. And I feel like there was more of a meaning behind that I probably didn't catch then and there. And even now, reprocessing and trying to take into what I've seen, it was a little bit different. But everything was really well planned out between the sequences and, spontaneous, like, adaptations to what's going on in the story. Everything was really good. The costumes reflected well. I loved how in the story the child takes off the mask of her shadow self and was like, you can't do this anymore, or something of that sort. And then later on, she puts the mask back. She puts the mask on, actually, reframe that. She puts the mask on her shadow to kind of like trap her and tell her, we're not doing this anymore. We have to follow the rules that father gave us. And later on, she realizes, like, as she gets older, you don't have to listen to dad. You can be who you want to be, or something along those lines, and rip the shadow mask off. And they reconnected because I guess as she got older, she lost in touch with her younger side, which is your shadow self. I thought this was really big because as someone who's working through putting this, what I've witnessed to real life, as someone who's working through their own personal, like, life traumas and adulting in school, you don't realize how much of your younger self you didn't get to explore. Especially for me, I feel like I grew up faster than most people and I matured faster. So it really resonated with me because I understand what they were trying to say, like losing your shadow self, and then you get so far in your life where it feels like it's really dark. And she reconnected with that her side of herself and like, you let this go, bring this back into your life because that's what you're missing. And I thought it was really beautiful, really well played. It stoked very strong emotions for me. It was almost kind of wanted to cry because I understood the story so much when it came to trying to deal with your shadow self now, your family, it's just everything was a lot to take in. Beautiful overall. The emotional response was big for me. I had a big, very unexpected connection to this actual presentation, Innovation Theater. I love the projections going on, the display, the decorations. I really felt like I was a part of the actual performance just by watching. Very beautiful. Overall, great work. Shadow and Child did an amazing job. Loved their characters in the show. Loved it all. It was beautiful. Something I would take to connect this further on, based on what I've learned in class, you want to have a performance or show that invokes some type of emotion out of your audience, rather it be happiness, sadness, they're crying, jumping for joy, and I feel like it did all of that for me. So beautiful. I was able to relate to it. I saw some personal growth from the characters themselves from the beginning, how I think she was kind of like the child gave homeless in her older life, or coming down from either some type of alcohol or drug abuse because she was laid out on the floor on the streets and I felt like it was raining on her. Really beautiful. She reconnected with her child self. Great. Taking on my next take with Cain and Abel and After Eden. It was a beautiful play. Everybody knows the story, Cain and Abel, how one kills the other because of jealousy. In this story, it was kind of the same thing. They went hunting and one of them couldn't get any food, and they've been hunting and they're getting hungry. Mom can't find anything. The two sons can't find anything. So Cain, Abel, and Eve are not getting any food. So Cain and Abel are both trying to get food. Abel goes out, doesn't find food. Cain goes out and doesn't find food. And then I guess one gets jealous of the other because he went out there looking for food and didn't find any. And then one comes back and he found food. And he just got really jealous of it. And boom, it happens. So the whole story was they were trying to prevent the story from happening where Cain kills Abel from the biblical times. And Eve's standpoint from the story was trying to explain that it's fate, it's inevitable. What we do now was already been processed, what's going to take on and go on from years from now. So there's no way he wanted to rewrite history. He didn't want to kill his brother. He was doing everything to avoid that, and it still happened. So for me, I took this as more of like an educational tool. You want this to happen. You try to take cheat codes. You try to get things done a different route, and you can't. Whatever's meant to happen is meant to happen. Doesn't matter how you get there. You can get there through the easy way. You can get there the hard way. What's meant to happen will happen. And for me, it was really big because I connected to this. And right now with life, I took a big break off from school. So coming back to school was a really big deal for me. And knowing that, people, it gave me an insight to even people from many times ago generations have been going through the same things we go through, and there's a lesson in that. So, really beautiful. There wasn't much of dancing in this, but a lot of displaying of still in the same concept of having an audience impact, as well as the venue, the scenery gave me, like, they were dressed like cavemen of their time, with the furs, the little fire. Everything of the set was, like, put me in real time of what was going on. And I felt really connected to it. It was really beautiful. The audience was really engaged, and they were talking to us as well as talking to each other. Beautiful role. I will say this is definitely something you want to watch in a live scenery versus like a recorded performance, just because I learned more by being there in it at the same time. This did a good job of integrating what I'm doing in real life, as in, nursing and stuff. It's really hard to separate, like, you want to save someone's life, you want to do this, you do all the things that you can, and something as small as a cut on their finger could be the reason why they die. You did all of this, and it's like, you can't change it. You can help fate, but you can't really change what's meant to happen will happen. So, beautiful overall. I'm glad I got to go. I'm glad I went to Innovation Theater for these two, it was multiple performances, but I like these two the most. Overall, very beautiful. I would do it again. I felt like everything had a nice flow. I felt like they used their floor well. Something I learned big in high school from marching band is when you're performing somewhere, you get better points if you use your space versus staying somewhere stagnant. Using the floor was great. Changing the sceneries was great. They went from one little set to another set, from the fireplace to their home, out in the woods. I was able to see all of that. I was able to feel the flow. It felt personal to me. So it was really good. I would say what I learned most from that in regards to putting it in context to school, with the dance, is the culture aspect of the biblical part. That's really big for some people, to take a very strong story in religion, animate it, and then add your own twist to it. Very beautiful. Gave me a very good understanding, I would say, of performance aesthetics of what's going on. And another thing that I really loved is that, sorry, I lost my train of thought, is that I was able to really see what they were trying to portray. And we're not trying to change the story, but we wanted you to add just a whole different perspective, point of view of what's going on, and kind of put you in that time of Eve and kind of knowing, like, one of my sons have killed my other son. So that's just very, very hard. Very hard. Makes you look at more of a psychology point, like, how do you handle that? How do you keep going? But I felt like, it was really beautiful overall. I got a good understanding of, keep going. Whatever's meant to happen will happen, and it all will happen, in my point of view, in God's timing. So, overall, really good. Thank you to Tracy Callahan for this Innovation Theater that they got going on. Beautiful. Can't wait to go to my next show. Thank you all.